Three, two, one. We're going live, gentlemen. Greetings, everyone. This is Uncle Vigilante. This is the Uncle Vigilante Show. I'm Uncle V, and I unapologetically cover epic cash. And with me today is Max Freeman. You guys know Max by now. And Yoga Dude. You guys know Yoga Dude by now. We have been one happy family. If you're watching this right now, you are an OG. You are an Epic Cash OG, and you get it. You're just an early adopter, man. You're on the right side of financial history. While we wait for some folks to come in, Jeff Chapman is first. Hey, Jeff, welcome to the show. I want to share with you guys something that I learned this morning. That my wife, she has a where is this? She has a dictionary. I didn't know that she was keeping her own personal private dictionary. And I said, honey, what's that? And she said, let me show you. This is my own private dictionary. And she turned the page to dumbass. And my picture was right there next to dumbass, along with this picture, which is, I think some of you know that I invested in an old car as a money pit to bring it back to life. Well, I knew I was going to have my hernia repair surgery, so I parked it way in the back because it's such a low car. I knew that I wouldn't be able to get in and out of it for like 6 weeks. So I was like, the doctor said after my hernia repair surgery just 1 week ago that, hey, do not lift more than 15 pounds. And I'm like, cool. So I get this cover in the mail. I'm like, cool, this is not more than 15 pounds. But then what I did was, to be able to get this sucker over, you have to kind of put it behind the back bumper and then you throw it over. What I didn't realize is that inertia, that became more than 15 pounds of force. And what resulted? Well, I broke something open under there and I'm having some internal bleeding. So I'm now scheduled to go back Tuesday morning. Lucky me, to have it scoped and have them fix whatever I screwed up in that one motion. So yes, my wife has started her own dictionary and my name is next to dumbass. So with that, I hope that gave a few people time to get into the chat. So Max, look, you live in Las Vegas, but you're in Las Vegas at the Mirage. There's the FreedomFest the FreedomFest conference. And I understand it was quite active yesterday. We had our wonderful Becky Boo give us a little tour yesterday. We just kind of did a last second live stream and she gave us a tour, met her dad, Tom, and saw the booth and all of that. But it was really right before everything got started. And then you show up and then other people show up. And then all of a sudden, all of these big names show up. Max Freeman, can you give us a little insight? Take as long as you want. There are no timers today. I want to hear everything.
As I gaze over my little collection of hourglasses you sent me. Thanks for taking the leash off today, Uncle.
Yeah, baby.
This is great. So I spoke for 20 minutes to Doug Casey yesterday. I've followed his work for decades.
Hold on. Just hold yourself. Hold yourself. Let me do this. I want to do the blah, blah, blah. Where is it? I just want to show people. Let me stop. Let me not stare back out of that so that I can open up. I just want to show who Doug Casey is, just so while you're talking, we can look at Doug Casey. Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, let in my other profile if you would. That way, if I need to screen share, I can.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yep. Doug Casey, absolutely my. All right, we got a little.
Yeah, sorry. All right, okay, we're good.
Okay, we're good. My favorite author. You turn me on to him. He is the best author.
They say never meet your heroes.
Ooh. That sounds like bathroom production.
I wish I could speak to the app designers at
yeah.
Zoom and Express. my frustration at their changing the behavior of their app, because for people with autism like me, it's always confusing when they change it on me. But anyway, so yeah, I've been following Doug Casey's work for decades. They say never meet your heroes, but in this case, it's an exception. It was very pleasant. I followed his work for quite some time. I've probably read, there might be some stuff that he's written that I haven't read, but I'm going to say I've read probably, the majority, if not the entirety of everything he's ever written. Even I went back and found his old paperback books from the 80s.
Nice.
That's, yeah. So he's been a great contributor to my edumacation over the years. I respect his views quite a lot. But obviously, people like this are not the easiest to get a hold of. So I actually, at the same conference in 2019 at FreedomFest, I bought his book. If you haven't read his fiction books, Speculator, Drug Lord, and Assassin, they are amazing. Yes, well worth the read. So,
and for those of you like me, they're well worth the listen. I listened to them all. I binged them all on cigar walks through the Audible app. And the narrator is just awesome.
Yeah, naked emperor. That's what you want. So so anyway, in 2019, when his first book came out, there were probably like, I don't know, 25 people in line or something, so I kept it brief. But I planted a little like a little flag, sort of like, I'll be back. So as we were in line, I had the book and he had his magic marker. And I said, Doug, I've been a fan of your work. This is back in 2019 at FreedomFest as well. Doug, I've been a fan of your work for a long time. This is such a special occasion for me. Instead of signing the book, would you sign my décolletage? And he's an erudite guy. He likes his vocab. Décolletage is one of the 1600, SAT words. And he just he was kind of on autopilot mode, scribbling autographs for the hoi polloi. And then he's like, wait a minute, what happened here? So I don't know if he recalled that, but it was kind of the same thing today or yesterday. There were a bunch of people milling about and he's signing books, and I show up there with the Epic shirt and so on. Hey, Doug, nice to see you again. And we get to chatting, and it was kind of like you with the shitcoin trial. It was like. Yeah. If you can imagine being a person of status and having like hundreds or thousands of people constantly wanting a piece of your attention, you need to be kind of efficient in how you dispense with them. So it was kind of like the, let me get this guy to go away with the shutdown question kind of thing, like go straight to the heart of it. A lot of older people are not into crypto, or they have their biases or whatever. There's some other people that I did meet that I won't mention, where it was that same sort of like, don't meet your heroes, and this is why. So I cried some tears yesterday, but this one was great. And so anyway, it was just this steady warming of sort of like, well, what about this? Okay, oh wow, very interesting. What about this? Oh wow, very interesting. And then by the end, you can just
hat off or wig off.
Yeah.
Stand the gavel.
Yeah, you can see the raised eyebrow, the facial expression, the gears turning in the mind, and a lot of crypto people are trying to bamboozle you with gobbledygook and complicated tech stuff. But I was talking about stuff that he knew. I was like, okay, stock to flow, precious metals, gold supply increases 2% per year. It takes energy to produce. Exter's pyramid, Gresham's law, Cantillon effect. I have familiarized myself with his body of work extensively for quite some time.
Yeah.
So I knew, how to present it. And so by the end, he said, "Wow, this is very interesting. Thank you so much for taking the time to give me all this wonderful information. I'd like to buy some. How can we stay in touch?" So like A+, couldn't have been better.
That's awesome. I want to also share another screen. And if you wouldn't mind, because at the beginning, when we were doing pregame, I didn't know who this guy was, but tell us about Ben Swann.
Yeah, so similar story. Ben Swann was he worked for CBS. He was part of the big media empire. And I believe that he was fired for talking about either 9/11, Clinton body count, human trafficking, the Laura Silsby, all the dirty stuff that our elite controllers are into. If you go off the reservation and you talk about stuff you're not allowed to, and then they shut you down. And so he wouldn't go along to get along, and they fired him and made an example out of him and tried to crush him. I think he had, I don't know, hundreds of thousands or even millions of subscribers before they deplatformed him and tried to ruin him. But instead of shrinking, he said, no, I'm going to do what's right and preserve and try to grow my voice. So he's working on something now called Sovereign Media, SOVREN. He's obviously concerned about censorship and deplatforming and demonetization and independent thinkers being able to have their message heard without interference. So we had a great conversation. We probably talked for 20, 30 minutes, maybe something like that. He had a lot of ideas of what he wanted to do with his media empire over the next few years as it relates to blockchain. And he's not the most technical guy. He relies on people for this. And he said, our original product plan was to be going this way, but then we had to change it for this other way. And now, like Solana's been down 9 times. Ethereum seemed like an option, but it's too expensive. Like this whole space is so confusing. So I said, well, good luck. Today's your lucky day. I'm happy to help. I'd love to support what you're doing. Consider me your blockchain brain. All this stuff is easy when you know how. I told them about Epic Fund Me. I told them about how people like him can monetize their relationship with their audience and their content directly through our independent, politically neutral payment solution that operates on a peer-to-peer basis. And I said, we will support you to plug Epic in as money to what you're doing. You've got one, we've got one. Let's stick them together and make 11. So he's all about it. I probably, people are stretched pretty thin during these conferences, and I try not to monopolize their time. But strong follow-up. I'm sure we'll be in touch. I spoke with his daughter, his son is there, his wife is involved. Great people. Truly Freeman. Now that we've got that link established, I think they could be another SGT report.
What it reminds me more of, frankly, is when Chris Champion was at dinner with you and Mars was using him to basically run interference to gut check whether or not you were the real deal. And then by the end of that dinner, Chris was your wanting lapdog, and you had the same conversations with Mars about what he is trying to pull off with View It. And what I love about you is you'll entertain people's current roadmap, and you're willing to step up and say, no, that's a bad idea. That's not going to work. Let me tell you what will, and you gain their credibility by that. And it's a beautiful thing to witness. So I'm glad that Ben was able to enjoy a little bit of that side of your brain yesterday as well. Want to share my screen again and give another shout out. Shout out to everyone, attending to the booth. Becky Boo, her dad. There's some people who like her.
Hold on, let me just speak to this for a second. I just have to make sure everybody knows that Captain Bai, his name is Thomas, and his wonderful daughter Becky Boo are absolute heroes. This is the best type of leading by example. They took leadership on printing these flyers, put them out on chairs during the Bitcoin debates. There's another flyer that says, come to our booth and we'll give you some coins. Joshua Vale was there.
Hey man, you're stealing my thunder, brother. I want to show people, I want to show people what it is. So let me show them, right? Okay. Yes, Captain Bai, he had these printed, shipped, orchestrated everything. So Max didn't have to do everything last minute by himself. And this is the primary talking point that's at the booth that they give out to everybody. But there's more strategic aspect of this that was very cool. But the one that I think is so great, and I don't know what the genesis was or who the genesis was that thought this up, but this headliner, 5 free Bitcoin, question mark, exclamation, WTF, right? Imagine if someone offered you 5 Bitcoin for free when it was still under $1. Stop by booth T26 Epic Cash for 5 free Epic. Epic equals private peer-to-peer electronic cash. Little map coming to the booth. Come to the Epic Cash booth, download your free Vite wallet, receive 5 free Epic Cash. Now, I believe all of this, the production, the funding, the wallet for the 5 free Epic, I believe, and Max, you can gut check me on this, but I think it was all community raised, was it not? Or
100%. This has been such a shining example of what we can do when we really come together. I think there's 28 people in the FreedomFest HQ group right now, maybe 31, something like that. But some people contributed a lot, like Thomas and Joshua Vale, with their time, with their financial commitment to do the printing, the booth, whatnot. There's probably others would send in a few coins here and there. There's probably, I don't know, 24 people that had a hand in making this, making the most of what this event is, and it's on short notice with no, it's not like we have a like at my prior, let me give you an example. So I've done probably 25 trade shows over the course of my career, maybe more, and in my toner.com group, and it takes we do the same shows every year. It takes like a dozen people, months and months of planning, big budgets. I mean, trade shows, like you want to put it can be like hundreds of thousands of dollars easily. And so the fact that we were able to do what we did with basically nothing, sawhorses, tables on sawhorses in the garage, popsicle sticks and strings, shoestring budget, bootstrap, sweat equity, all that, like endearing type of started from the bottom, now we're here, the Drake song type of approach. We're really doing it. And whether it's Batuhan in Turkey, or FreedomFest in Las Vegas, or the countless other initiatives that are going, we really have a culture now of grassroots, organic, emergent, bottom up, sort of everyone in their way, putting their thinking caps on. Not everyone, of course. We can always use more participation, but we've never been as anywhere close to as blessed with people who are waking up in the morning and finding ways that they can apply their skills and energy to making this thing go. And it just warms my heart. Thanks, everybody.
Everyone has their own personal gifts of sweat equity that you can lend to the community. Everyone does, all of you, whether it's just coming in to the show here on time, dropping some comments, some likes, or being, kind of Walmart greeters within the Epic Cash community. We have the best greeters in the industry, I think, but this is what cracks me up. This is good marketing right here. So today, what's going to happen, you can see this, is Friday from 3:10 to 4 p.m. on the main stage. It's going to be the great Bitcoin debate in crypto, the biggest financial bubble since the .com era. Okay, so I just want you to know that is the ladies and gentlemen, the main event. And look,
wait, who is speaking up there? If it's not too late, I should get up there. I mean,
no,
Jesus,
they tried. They tried next.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
But it's unfortunate because like so many of these people, I don't know who's talking or whatever, but it's really the blind leading the blind. Yeah. I mean, Marcus Allen is out there like charging people for his expertise, And I'm like, no, like, please come to Free U and learn. So I would love to help. It's unfortunate that they don't, yet see the value in having my participation.
They
but
will.
It's good that it's good.
Well,
it's good that at least they're having crypto on the agenda at all, because a few years ago,
let me get into what I want to say here, Max. I'm bragging about this because the people, on our team who are pulling this off were so smart that there was what was called a chair drop marketing opportunity. So imagine there's this big main event, Bitcoin discussion, right? And when everyone goes and sits down, there's going to be 2 sheets. One is going to be this. That's going to be on their chair, and the other is going to be the overview. So imagine while they're just getting comfortable, they're reading a little bit about Epic Cash. What is this trillion shout out? Oh, what are the positive attributes of this Epic Cash? What is Epic Cash? I don't know. And what's it? Oh, I get 5 free Bitcoin. What? And so then can you imagine while these talking heads are talking nonsense about Bitcoin? Then I just can't wait to get some video footage of some people not paying attention, heads in their mobile device, downloading the Vite app, and getting there, coming by the booth and getting there. Anyway, I love that. I love
guerrilla marketing.
Yes, amen. Guerrilla marketing at its finest. And who you just heard was Yoga Dude, who is really one of the best marketers. Really, he's got a storied career in marketing. So always love his perspective. And while we're here, hey, can you, Enrique, he couldn't be here, but you're a good explainer. Can you walk us through what has been circulating in the groups? Just I just love this thought experiment. I love everything that that Enrique does. He really just uncovers the not obvious for us kind of newbies, if you will, and just makes you think. So if you think this is cherry picking, you're wrong. It goes back to 2020. Enough of me, Yoga. Please explain.
Well, I'll try and do this justice. I really do hope that Enrique, with his sexy self, shows up and gets a crowd to swoon to his intellect and his visuals. But
boys got some visuals, man.
Yeah,
what I noticed. You even talk about signal within the noise. Every time Enrique goes on video, there's a 7% positive correlation to our token price. No, I'm just kidding.
I love that.
This is like true to statisticians. They start getting like caught up in all of this. Like, okay, so if you're standing on one foot, okay, and you're holding up a fork, and you do this, and in this sequence, this happens, kind of thing. So yeah, let's. So this is a lot less like that and much more objective. I mean, all this is basically if you were dollar cost averaging $5 from Black Friday 2020. So people talk about, how we put up our graph, like how is Epic doing for the last, 12 months versus, let's say Bitcoin and whatever. And we're still, by the way, we're like the only ones that are like double-digit green. Everybody else is like miserably in the red, double digits in the red. And this is just another way of looking at this against other cryptos, and he picked Binance Coin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Core, Monero, XRP, and Litecoin, and it's just a really simple and honest, like you're putting $5 in every day, from that date, and where would you be, where would you be today? And again, Epic Cash, like people talk about Bitcoin, like, well, if you bought it cheap, you'd be doing great. Well, we were much cheaper not too long ago, and you would be doing so much better.
So let's compare here. So if you basically this exercise,
Epic Cash, yeah. Go ahead.
This exercise with just the simple exercise of dollar costing $5 in each one of these buckets per day, right? to date, you would have $4,275 invested in each one. And what would your value be today if you would have done that with Litecoin? Well, you'd be down 39%, and your $4,275 would only be $2,590. Conversely, if we look at Bitcoin, your $4,275 would be just 4% more, $4,426. Now, this goes back all the way to 2020. Keep in mind, Epic Cash, on the other hand, you would be up 668%, and your value would be $32,822. So that goes back a long way. That's not a cherry pick. It's apples to apples, and fair is fair. Just like when Yoga, when sorry.
It's all right. I've been doxed before, so yes.
Okay. Just so Yoga, when like, I love it when you do your 1 year, very pragmatic, facts are facts, ma'am. And we're, up 60% versus BTC being down 45%. That's a full year, guys. So it's not like we're cherry picking stuff, but people are starting to pay attention. And
Yes,
that's what I think is pretty cool. So Max Freeman, I want to show something here because this last week, I heard it live. You quoted, let's look at this. Where are we? So this was a quote. I think the real question is, which will hit 1,000 sooner, BTC or Epic Cash? And I remember the person we were talking to had to think about that for a second. And then they started cracking up. But unpack this. Unpack what we're seeing here. And by the way, this graphic is dedicated to all the ankle biters out there, who are grumpy old get off my lawn types. We do not miss you. All right.
So let's zoom out and provide some context. So there are currently 300 million cryptocurrency owners. The industry's been around a certain amount of time since it was created. If we go back to the mid 90s and look at internet adoption, back when we had dial-up modem, and then we had DSL, and then you have fiber, and now we have wireless, all this great stuff. If you look at the history of technology, as I have and as Yoga has, if you have the eyes to see, it's pretty clear what's going on here. So in the late 90s, it was commonly held that Internet Explorer, which I think had an 80-90+% market share at some point, was the be all and end all of the browser experience. Internet Explorer won the end. Obviously, they're going to be dominant forever. AOL was synonymous with the internet, like Xerox was synonymous with photocopying, or Kleenex with facial tissue there for a while. AOL pulled off the biggest heist of all time with a stock merger, getting real media assets in Time Warner. So hands off to Steve Case for that deal. So the people
bit of history. One of our companies that we sold at Loeb was called Synapse Group, and we sold that for $1 billion to AOL Time Inc. So it was right after their merger. And they had so much money, they were willing to pay us a fair share.
Exactly. I was gonna reference a quote. I'll just throw it out there. It's a bit backhanded. I'm not saying that they're fools, but what immediately came to mind is fools and their money are soon parted. There was a good skinning, and many people got their piece of that pie. So good on you for getting 1 billion out of those many billions up for grabs in that whole that whole thing. But anyway, so people thought AOL was what mattered, when really what mattered was the internet access, or for example, Google search taking over from Alta Vista and Excite. Essentially, the way I look at it is a blockchain is just a distributed database. Distributed database that enables people who run the software of that database to send certain types of encrypted financial messages to each other. If I have a connection to the SWIFT wire transfer network, if I'm a bank, let's say, then I can send a message over that network to the other parties. In this case, for financial communication, the SWIFT network sends 23 million messages a day, and they cost $50. It's basically like logistics for financial data. The Bitcoin Core network to store the information of those 21 million coins and who owns them and their history with the right type of cryptographic assurance and proof of work and all that stuff.
20 million transactions a day.
So Swift does 23 million transactions a day.
Times $50. That's $1.15 trillion a day.
Well, 23 million transactions is how many Swift wire transfers go, and at retail they're $50.
$50. Yeah, that's over $1 trillion a day.
No, 23 million. Is it?
Do the math. I think my calculator's right. It's 23 million times 50. I get one.
Let me pull that up.
I get a 1 and then Trace commas.
A billion is what you're thinking, not trillion. Trace commas is still billion. Michael Saylor is 3 commas in the hole, not 4. Well, I mean, not yet.
It was 42 million messages a day. I had old data. So 41.8 million a day in 2021.
Okay. It's a shitload.
There's 11,000 Swift member institutions in 200 countries, 35 million a day.
No wonder they don't want to. No wonder they don't want to.
2021.
No wonder they don't.
5 trillion a day.
Yeah, they don't want to let go of their Druid Babylonian bastard system. That's some good ching, man.
Yeah. So here's another data point. The payment processing intermediaries collectively, all the people in the middle of moving value around your Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Swift, wire transfer fees, ACH, debit, all of that. Like you can look at payments industry revenue collectively as the juice that comes out of the squeeze they put on us in intermediation between people who want to pay each other. And that totaled $1.9 trillion in 2021. So the market scope for how much positive impact we can have on the world with EUSD in particular, because merchants need to be compensated fairly for their goods or services and not have the value change during the payment process. Epic is great, but because we live in a fiat world, at least today, and people have their cost structures and their accounting and their thinking in those terms, EUSD is really the breakthrough that will unlock that for us. As Mark Andreessen said, software is eating the world. And so their revenue footprint of 1.9 trillion is our market opportunity. As we take that away and enable people to send higher quality messages, because wire transfers take 5 to 7 business days. You got to fill out forms. A lot of times they go wrong. I had a wire held up. I was waiting a month for it to get untangled. A month. If you're in some island jurisdiction somewhere, you think you're slick with your Dominica passport or whatever. Good luck. You can be like 2 months to get your 50 grand going somewhere or whatever. It's an absolute mess. So here the payments are instant. They're near free. There's no chargebacks. They're immutable. You can have privacy if you want it. You can have transparency if you want it. We just have a better solution. And so as our software eats the world, in this case, the payment industry world, there's 1.9 trillion of friction, of fees that are injected into these other commercial contexts that if you move to our solution, and let's take Epic EUSD as a whole, 2 sides of the same coin, you no longer have that. So I'm talking to a major, I'm about to talk to a major restaurant chain with over 2,500 locations in North America. And I'm doing the math of how much they can save if they can get even a small fraction of their customers to go off of credit and debit to crypto. And the numbers are just substantial. I mean, the appetite has been there for point of sale adoption for a long time. I think Starbucks trialed Bitcoin Core payments in 2014. I may have that wrong. Overstock.com. I mean, the demand for usage as payment for cryptocurrency has been there for a long time, but it hasn't really clicked, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But now the stars are finally aligning, and we really have the right solution. So back to why we are going to why it's an open question in my mind about who hits $1,000 first. Is essentially you have a I look at it as the data to represent 21 million coins and the historical chain of transactions from Genesis in a very particular type of way. The detail is important there, because if you talk about proof of stake or some of these other things, it's just not the same. So it's important to be apples to apples and clear. But basically, it takes 400 gigabytes to represent that data in 2009 tech, Bitcoin Core. Imagine you have a CD-ROM with the Bitcoin song on it, and that's all that can fit. But then you go to DVD. Well, DVD, you can put 4.7 gigs of data versus, or I think Blu-ray is 4.7, something like that. CD-ROM is only 74. Yoga might know better. But basically, as technology moves on, you had that same physical disc from CD-ROM, then DVD to Blu-ray. As the laser wavelength got shorter, you could compress more information and have a greater storage density. Our blockchain has a greater storage density for this type of financial messaging than the primary competitor, BTC. And so the people out there banging their chest saying this is the be all and end all of money and payments and commerce and blah 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 blah, all that maxi stuff, are simply misguided or ignorant, or cognitive dissonance, whatever you want to call it. Fundamentally, it's a $20,000 CD-ROM and our $1 Blu-ray, which is upgradable, and theirs is not, already exists. And so there's a proven demand for this type of cryptographic data wealth storage, you could say, according to the Bitcoin standard design of 21 million. There are two viable options. The market leader is Bitcoin Core. It costs 20,000 and it has this functional profile. Ours costs $1 and it has this functional profile. So what is the market share of a $20,000 CD-ROM in an era where $1 Blu-ray already exists? And so I don't see much of a future for that network.
But you know what? You know what? And I'd love this is really important, what I'm going to share with you right now. And everybody knows about the latest Luna collapse and what happened. They sold around 80,000 BTC into the market. During that time, the price dropped over 10,000 in value. Max, Yoga, can we talk about Mount Gox and what's going to happen when over 137 Bitcoin come back into circulation next month and they start settling its bankruptcy debts? Again, comparing just 80,000 BTC from Luna and price drop 10,000. So if people out there think that BTC hitting sub 10,000 from 20 right now, this is happening.
Uncle, I'd like to, recently a lot of Bitcoin maxis have been kind of enjoying a chuckle at the gold bugs expense about a huge pile of gold being found in Africa, thereby potentially devaluing the gold proposition and the scarcity of gold. Well, this is not to kind of enjoy the same schadenfreude. I think the gold bugs are kind of looking at Bitcoin guys right now going, hey, look, somebody discovered a huge deposit of Bitcoin that's about to flood the market. Look, the scarcity proposition, yes, these coins, people knew that these coins existed, but these coins were not accessible, just like people knew that gold exists, that there's more gold underground, until somebody dragged it up. And I think that there's going to be definitely a market reaction. Of course, this depends on what people are going to do with their Bitcoin and how many of those people or around.
I bet you so many of those. I'm just trying to go, shrink.
Yeah, but free market, exactly. I mean, look, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Some people are going to dump. Simple as that. Some people are going to dump.
They're going to say this is, and it's going to be the first one, to take a dump is gonna win. So that's the frenzy.
And there's scarcity, right? And there's scarcity, and this is the whole thing. And they keep hanging on to this, like, well, 1 Bitcoin still equals 1 Bitcoin. That's really trite and just not really saying anything, because
right.
I'm sorry, okay, but as if you listen to Michael Saylor for the whole year, while Bitcoin has been dropping, he kept saying, well, it's still better than dollar. Well, this is sad, but dollar's kicking Bitcoin's ass today.
Yeah.
As paradoxical as that is.
That is.
So, and Epic is actually looking pretty damn good. So, yeah, I mean, I agree that this is going to be a very interesting event. I think it's kind of a cataclysmic event potentially for
I do too,
and we'll see what happens.
I just think once they start taking out this is going to take out so much leverage within the system, is it not?
It's this is probably one better for Max, but considering the amount of paper Bitcoin that exists, since Bitcoin has been rehypothecated the hell out of, it's hard to say how much of this is in the price, how much of this is not in the price. And Max, what do you think, man? Because it's diluted as hell already. Bitcoin.
Yeah, I can answer that very clearly. I had to hold my tongue all these years because it made. I would see people's eyes gloss over, and I sound ridiculous. I mean, if some guy is muttering on a street corner with a sandwich board saying, the end of the world is coming, find Jesus now, like, maybe he's right, but most people aren't going to listen to him. So I kind of had to hold my tongue. But this now it's really coming full circle. The network supply, in other words, the Bitcoin Core nodes have a supply of 19-ish million, something like that. But when you look at the effective supply due to fractional reserve, let's just say financialization, more broadly, all the different types of ways that people play games with their assets and lend them out and borrow them over here, rehypothecate them over here. Just let's bucket all of that stuff and say things that undermine the fundamental scarcity value proposition of the original Bitcoin design of 21 million. A friend of mine runs a $80 million quant fund for crypto assets, and so he knows this really well. He said, according to his research that he feels very confident in, he pegs it at between 40 to 55 million effective supply. And I said, what's that going to be 5 years from now? Maybe 100? And he's like, there's no way to tell. It could be essentially infinite. There is more gold traded in the futures markets, paper gold, every day than is produced worldwide in a year. There is so much fake funny IOUs for real stuff out there in the financial markets. It's a leaky ship. And so any maxi that tells you that that BTC is going to win long term and their argument is based on scarcity, you really have to ask them. I think we owe it to them because a lot of these people are our friends and family. It hurts it sucks to see people get hurt. I know people that just lost decades worth of accumulated wealth essentially overnight in this meltdown. And I'm like, I know it sucks to sell out when you're down 70%, but isn't keeping 30 better than losing the remaining 29? And then you finally tap out when there's only 1% left. And guess what? The network fees are hundreds of dollars. So you're not going to be able to afford to move your dust out because you're not going to be able to sell once this thing finally falls apart. So
this leads up to, we're in the last 15 minutes and I have the Max Please Explain segment, which could be Max or Yoga Please Explain. I don't care who, but I see Black Swan here and I see that often. Want to explain what a Black Swan event is?
That's Ben Swann's sister.
Yikes, man.
You take that one.
Okay.
that
Boo. Boo.
What the hell is that? That's really haunting stuff, man.
I have 3 buttons on my thing.
I specialize in bad puns. Becky, she's so fun. She told me the other day, Max, you're so funny. I had no idea. Like, you're always so serious in the live streams.
So
there's my other.
So
button.
the Black Swan thing, basically the guy that really kind of made this popularized is Nassim Nicholas Taleb, who is this really awesome guy, and I recommend highly reading his book, Anti-Fragility. But what he's talking about is something that is an unforeseen thing, something that we take for granted that just ain't so. You know how that whole favorite quote of that's misattributed to Mark Twain goes, that what's going to get you in trouble is not what you know, or is not what you don't know, but what you know for sure that just ain't so. So Black Swan in Europe, it was considered that, well, black swans do not exist, and it was just accepted as an absolute, and it went on like that for, well, forever, until people discovered that black swans are actually pretty damn common in Australia. So by the time people got around to Australia, that kind of shifted that whole paradigm. So it's an event, it's a surprising event, but it's a major effect. What he's talking about is specifically, like, when you have all these statistics and you have all this information that you think is going the right way, and then you just have this massive surprise. And this is one of those, like, when people talk about multicollinearity and statistics and a lot of these other fancy words. But I'll just give you one example. Like, let's say you're a turkey, and you have this farmer who keeps feeding you, and he keeps feeding you every day. So you keep getting this positive reinforcement, and your statistical model with every day is looking better and better and better. The guy takes care of you, makes sure that predators don't eat you, and he keeps feeding you. So your statistical model keeps getting more and more robust as more data points keep getting added until you come to the day before Thanksgiving, in which case your whole model terminates on a butcher block, and that is a black swan event.
I think somebody said it even more succinctly than that.
I wasn't trying to be succinct. I was actually waxing poetic.
Okay, I think my next guest even waxes more poetic than you, and rare few people wax more poetic than you. But I think it comes down to everybody has a plan to get punched in the mouth by Mike Tyson.
You got to take your voice up a couple in pitches though for that. It's not like everybody has a plan.
Oh, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Hold on one second here.
Oh no. No. What have I done?
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yep.
Okay, we won't do that. We won't make people suffer through that more than one time ever on this show.
Yeah,
okay.
But anyway, so Black Swan is basically just something. It's just a massive surprise, something that is cataclysmically was unanticipated.
So whoever wrote that article is submitting that this could be a black swan event when these 137 million BTC just get dumped into the market. So that's kind of fun. Regarding Max, please explain. Max, I've heard you say momentum, nostalgia, and inertia are the only things keeping BTC from going to zero. Can you unpack that?
Yeah. Well, I would say ignorance. As well,
ignorance.
Because ignorance, as we always say, ignorance is expensive, or ignorance is a choice in an age of information. And I would also assert that ignorance right now is very expensive. Arrogance might be another one to add on there.
I like that too.
Yeah, we're the best. We're going to be on top forever. The end. The history of technology and even business more broadly shows us that when people are on top, they get complacent. They lose what
Right.
made them successful in the first place. And so when Bitcoin started, it was peer-to-peer electronic cash, and it was about censorship resistance and permissionlessness and not having to trust anyone, and really being able to do things that couldn't be done inside of the existing system. And it was an open culture, very welcoming to experimentation. Things like Dash and Digibyte and Litecoin and Zcash and Decred and all of these sort of early coins that built off of the Bitcoin core code base. And then you had the culture really shift as people struck it rich in that first major boom when real money was at stake in 2017, 18, and now into the 2020s. You have this cultural shift of, if it ain't Bitcoin, it's a shit coin. I went to Bitcoin 2021, but not 2022, because that like cult atmosphere, religious sort of like, are you sufficiently committed to put your body on the line for the glory of God? Like just soldiers out on the battlefield preparing to die, kind of thing. Swear your eternal fealty and pound your chest, and like really kind of like tribal macho sort of like echo chambery type of stuff. So what you have is this delayed reaction of like, I like that cartoon, the Roadrunner, with the coyote, where the Roadrunner is running and then stops, and then the coyote keeps running off the cliff and then looks down and suddenly goes, oh. And then when he notices that he's off the cliff, that's when he falls. That's really what is happening here, because I know people that have been along for the road or on the journey with BTC for a long time, and they go, okay, you're telling me this time is different, but I remember prior market collapses. It always comes back. This is the time to buy. This is the time to be bullish. We saw 85% drawdown from 2018, December 2017 to March 2019. There was an 85% drawdown from almost 20,000 to 3,000. It always comes back. Bitcoin's been declared dead 400 times, and it always comes back. Ha ha ha. If you're right so long, if every bit of information that you get, confirmation bias, that's another one, teaches you that you should just like ignore the counter arguments and focus on the bull case, just faith-based belief system. We are going to win in the end. Just it's time to back up the truck and go all in. When in doubt, zoom out. Like the desperation of people on Twitter trying to rally each other to save this sinking ship is really, it's almost heartbreaking to watch, because a lot of people are going to get so burned in this. But a technology shift has occurred. This time is different. Epic exists, Mimblewimble exists. They became complacent. Bitcoin Core was compromised with malice aforethought in 2014 when Blockstream got acquired by the Babylonian interests, and it's just taken time to play out. So a lot of people, when you really unpack their reasons for bullishness, they don't actually make any sense, but they're not willing to take that time to understand how things have changed. I was talking to a guy at the show yesterday. This was not going so well, and he was a very typical arrogant, condescending, know-it-all maxi type that was explaining. This guy was involved with El Salvador, and he was explaining how people are doing commerce using BTC in El Salvador, and I was trying to be as polite as possible and not point out the fact that has largely been a failure on so many levels.
Yep.
But he was all about it. He was bullish. He's like,
but when did
these
he get
guys
into
can
Bitcoin, Max? Do you know?
What's that?
Do you have any idea when did that guy get into Bitcoin?
Yeah,
Because it's
Yeah,
just
that's a
this
good question,
douchebaggery,
right?
man. This whole like absolutist.
It's a
maximalism
later
thing.
stage phenomenon.
It's a way
late
later
stage
phenomenon.
malignancy.
We were we were humble as hell in the beginning. Just speaking strictly from a miner's perspective, look, we pretty fast realized that, the blockchain is growing really fast, that this is not private, that this is, resource intensive, especially once the ASICs started showing up, so right from the beginning, like the early Bitcoin community was not so complacent and nowhere near as arrogant. I mean, people knew that, hey, this is a great first step, but man, we got to hustle to make it better. We got to do more with it, So these guys that are doing all this chest thumping today, all these like Bitcoin bros, I'm just curious, like most of these guys, from what I've seen, like these like post 2015, post 2017, post 20,
Yeah.
Anyway. Sorry, I just had to interject that. I had to do a shout out for the OGs that, like, look, a lot of the OGs moved on and started other cryptos, and they started, improving cryptos, and they started, they're probably not holding any Bitcoin at this point. They're holding other cryptos.
Okay. So for the memers out there, or the folks who want to grab sound bites, the new phrase is momentum, nostalgia, arrogance, ignorance, confirmation bias, and inertia are the only things keeping BTC from going to zero. So there you go. Okay, I have one last, Max, please explain. Can you explain the greater fool's fallacy when it comes to investing in not just Bitcoin, but perhaps other currencies as well? Cryptocurrency?
Yeah, I think it's greater fool theory. I might be wrong on that, but regardless,
it's definitely not a fallacy.
Okay, theory. All right.
This idea of greater fool is that, okay, if you ask people why they are invested in BTC at 20,000, invariably the answer is because I believe the price is going to go up and I will sell it later for more money. In other words, they're thinking in terms of dollars, and the reason that you do this is to enter, exit, and end up with more dollars. So the same type of mindset that you would apply to stocks or mutual funds or anything like that. Okay, so they're approaching it from that way. And but then when you really dig down and unpack that, and most people aren't willing to take the time to confront this, and these are the ones that are really going to face losses. Everybody's going to wake up eventually. It's just a question of when when on the curve they get there, which could get really interesting. But I'll save that for later. So if you say, well, why are you buying it? Because I'm going to sell it for more later. Why are they buying it? Because they're going to sell it for more later. Well, who are they going to sell it to? To somebody who's going to, because there's going to be somebody else that will come along to buy it more later. All right. Well, where does that end? Haven't we just like taken ourselves into the very definition of a pyramid scheme? Like when you take out the underlying utility, remember the original reason that these things had a value, what came first, the chicken or the egg, the store of value or medium of exchange? It was the fact that you could exchange it. You could use it as a medium, a circulating medium. You can pay people in places, in ways that the world doesn't want you to, because
That's right.
Right now you can't do business with this place. You can't do business with this place. You can't do this. You can't do that. Okay, well now with this tech, yes, I can. Yeah. And now you can't. So you've taken away the utility, and the value used to be related to and underpinned by utility. Now the value comes from a belief system that there will be more people coming into this religion in the future. Like you're getting a share in our church. Basically, you can't do anything with it. You can't transfer it. You can't send it. Oh, by the way, you're going to be taxed on it based on unrealized gains soon, because it's a transparent ledger and everybody knows how much you have. If you want to transfer it, you got to fill out a form. You got to tell Coinbase how much or who that wallet belongs to. If you pay your poker buddy, that's a real thing that's happening in the US and Netherlands. If you want to host, you can't unhosted wallet. No, you got to go through this company, and of course they soak you for fees. In the case of El Salvador, the government itself runs the quote Bitcoin system. Ha ha. It's just a database, and then it's a banking system that eventually you can off ramp to BTC. I mean, this guy yesterday was trying to tell me how El Salvador proved his point that Bitcoin was the future of money, and I'm like, but wait, you have a system run by the government that's custodial, that's centralized, that's permissioned, that's identity based, that is based on trust. The fact that like it's denominated in BTC is neither here nor there. You've recreated the existing banking system, meet the new master, same as the old master. But because of that emotional investment in the asset, a lot of people are gonna die on that hill, unfortunately. So right now, the 150 million BTC owners, the people who already smoke Lucky Strikes, are not going to be as receptive to the marketing message of camels. I hate to use a cigarette analogy, but this is kind of applicable because they keep coming back to smoking those Lucky Strikes. That for every person that has that stinking thinking of being besotted by Bitcoin maximalism, the BTC religion, all these wrong, bad ideas that they've absorbed through this chest thumping over the past 5 years, especially. For every one of those, there's 19, because the world population is 7 billion and change, and only 300 million crypto owners worldwide. About half of those hold it. So I guess, what is that? 2%, something like that. So there's 50 blue ocean prospects for every one that already has an existing vendor that is highly contested. So our canvas of opportunity is really the people who, wait, you mean there's a form of peer-to-peer electronic cash according to the original Bitcoin standard that I can mine, I can own, I can spend, I can earn, I can use as a tool as my business? I don't think we really, yeah. Go ahead.
Have you ever became besotted with your best friend's sister?
Mm-hmm.
I just had to pull up beside.
I told you about that time in high school in confidence, and now you're betraying me in front of the world. I will never trust you again.
You brought up besotted that I didn't understand it.
Hey guys, I just want to, I know we're kind of lighthearted here, but I'd like to inject this one slightly more sinister note to the whole greater fool theory, okay? And it's this, okay? If you listen to the Bitcoin maxis as of late,
okay,
they are now crying for more regulation.
Yes, they are.
And the reason for that is they want for people to get in, and they want to make it hard for people to get out.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Okay.
I like that.
And to me, the whole transformation of the landscape is just so far away from the initial ethos of Bitcoin, from the initial Satoshi vision, that it not only it's been hijacked, but it really is being almost like weaponized into something evil, something just misshapen, and it's a trap. I mean, I don't want to sound like that guy from Star Wars, but it's a trap.
Yeah.
And they want, and this is the greater fool theory endgame.
Okay.
Fool people to get Sailor and all these guys from their 3 comma losses, to dump these bags on the unsuspecting people, okay, and then lock him in so the government can see what they got, so they cannot move it, so they cannot spend it because they're discouraged to spend it. Well, then there's also like tax consequences and things like that on a completely transparent blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's the one ring to rule them all. To use the Tolkien analogy, it's the one ring to rule them all. But
and I love the idea of, I mean, like, if you go back to Carol Quigley, Tragedy and Hope, and him talking about the networks, really kind of the magic of Bitcoin at inception, I think, from trying to get inside Satoshi's head, like you've done, Max, is to stop using the network's money. But I think what I just picked up that you were putting down, Yoga, is that BTC has become part of the network, has been compromised, and now they are assisting the network.
Absolutely. And this is why new cryptos and specifically Epic Cash with our fungibility, with our privacy, we are the cracks in that foundation. We are that unstoppable virus that's outpacing this this congealed, slow mentality.
It's really simple.
Instrument of enslavement that's trying to.
It's really simple for those who are coming into the Epic Cash rabbit hole, willing to take a deep dive, willing to rewind on this channel and go back and binge watch some videos and just get up to speed. Ask yourself, does this project, does Epic Cash have the potential to replace the network's money? And after your deep dive, if you say no, then please reach out to me, please DM me, because I'd like to be able to host a show and have you come on and tell us why, and let's have an adult conversation about it. But that is certainly why I'm putting so much of my sweat equity and energy into not only this show, but the project, however I can help it, is that I really do believe that Epic Cash's utility is to help us, to assist us to stop using the network's money, which then has all kinds of other side benefits, including funding wars. So with that, that's all I have to say on the subject. Max, you have any closing comments, Yoga?
Oh yeah, we're already 6 minutes over, so I'll terminate it here and save the rest for next week. But I'll just repeat my call as always. There's never been a better time to get involved. If you can help in any way, even if you're already helping, if you can do more, if you want to get connected with people, please reach out to me and I will help get you plugged in. There's so much activity helping, people helping everywhere across the ecosystem, and we can all do our part. So if you want to get more engaged, connect with me and let's do that together. This is our time. If we all realize the power that we have even already and how close we are, I think it could be amazing.
100%, 100%. You know, again, get skin in the game, put an oar in the water and start rowing. That's it.
I love that. You had a visual somewhere on that where those were kind of your three tenets. And it's so true. You know, we've been dealing with a lot of people coming in and asking for a lot of money or Epic or USDT to be able to help us improve the value of the bags we holdeth. And, you know, I think it's becoming a really cool just aspect of the Epic Cash community to where people are starting to get it. No, you want it. You really want to generate some wealth. How about acquire some Epic and then figure out how to use your talents and capabilities and network to row, to put your oar in the water and row and grow your bag like you would grow a business.
And it's empowering. It is so empowering because look, you can't do it with Bitcoin today. You can't do it with Ethereum today. You can't, you know,
no,
we are up and coming and there's just, you know, today is the day.
Today is the day. All right, everyone. No better day than today to acquire Epic Cash, still trading under $1. You can go to t.me/Epic Cash is kind of your lobby, and we can help you go wherever you want to go from there. If you're interested in mining, if you are a lady who just would like to be able to hang with some other really special ladies of Epic, we have a group there. If you like to trade or want to learn how to trade, we have an Epic Cash trading group. We have a governance group. We have t.me/Freeman U. That's with just a U at the end. And Max is one of the teachers in there, one of the instructors. And that's where you can go and really take some deep dive into crypto knowledge. So we offer a lot. And we really are most excited about one thing, literally one thing, and that's you. That's you coming into the community. And if you do, at this point, I swear to the big man upstairs, you are an Epic Cash OG, because we haven't even begun yet. We haven't even begun. And we have so much to look forward to. So everyone in the chat, thank you. Someone had said, hey, I didn't know there was a live stream today. I really like these. Well, be sure you can set your clock to it almost within a minute or two. Every Friday, we have Epic Cash Live, to where we bring to you the latest news and updates on Epic Cash. And I can't wait to see this grow and grow and grow and grow one day. My goal, my short-term goal, I can't wait till there's 100 people watching Epic Cash Live. We're going to celebrate that when it happens. And I think it'll be here sooner than later. All right, everyone, wish you a happy weekend. And look, the next time that I will see you, it will be our finale for the Quest for Superior Money series with Max and Todd Lewis this coming Wednesday, and that will be at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So set your alarm clocks now. Wednesday at 11 a.m. and we're going to wrap up that series, and it'll be a great wrap up. This last one you should go watch. It was my favorite of all of them, and we've done a dozen episodes already, but there was just a lot of meat on them, our bones. Okay, everyone, have a great weekend. Cheers.